gymnastic programs, football, fencing, swimming, taekwondo, and tennis through citywide parks and recreation programs. Our sons are fifth-generation member of the Church of Christ of the Apostolic Faith, a 100-plus year congregation, so they participate in the choir, the Bible Bowl team, and later work as counselors at the Vacation Bible School and Resident Church Camp. They rounded out their community service of homeschooling as volunteers at the Center Science and Industry. They each had 2,500 hours plus graduation. So are you listening to this? This is the roadmap. All right? Let me just go back. And this is so important. Right? And this is coming from someone who did it. They said that eliminated cable, video games, and all discretionary, i.e., non-essential spending, and hired Africans and African American graduate students at the Ohio State University to teach biology, French, and mathematics. So what they were doing, instead of paying that independent school $17,000 a year, right, to butcher our kids as far as education is concerned, let's get these bright
grad students,
right, who you know are good, know the ropes, to teach our kids. In addition to that, we make sure our kids have the 2,500 plus hours of volunteer service. Right? So they want to say, Evan was always an artist. He's completing his MFA at University of Penn this May. That was back then, this May. So he attended Columbus College of Arts and Design School from age 7 until he left for Amherst. You know, that's University of Massachusetts, Amherst. That's the Division III school. That's the little Ivy. I wanted my son to go to that school real bad. That school was, oh, man.
You don't have very many black people there.
Yeah, but it's a great school. Academics. This wasn't about soccer. This was all about academics. That's where her son, he went to. Starting at 13, he also had the opportunity to work with the late, great Roman Johnson, a noted African-American artist, each Saturday afternoon. Our son also participated in Ballet Met, Opera Columbus, and various theater program and production around Columbus. We used traditional enrichment programs like Space Camp in Florida, Oceanography Camp in Maine, and Engineering Camp at Ohio State to support specific areas of interest. Our management consulting business allowed us to travel extensively with them, domestically and internationally. Charles, Damon, and Evan hated being homeschooled from the very first month until the last one, but we continued unrepentant until they went to college. Charles and Damon went to Princeton in 1998. Evan entered Amherst, a top-ranked liberal college, in 2000.
This was 15 years ago.
So what do you mean? What does that mean? Experiments are done years ago.
Yes, to say. I mean, you know.
So what do you mean by it's done 15 years ago? So you saying it can be done now?
It could still be done. You could still. First of all, these were not poor people, obviously.
But we got black people in this community sending their kids to Newark Academy,
okay,
Seton Hall Prep.
Where's my mirror? At any rate, who send their kids away? Mm-hmm. Yes, so they could have saved. Well, maybe hired some grad students to tutor and things that they are not that, or just hired students to tutor, and then they supplemented their education by sending them to specific types of camp or summer programs that would augment what they learned. And then they traveled all over with their parents. Would this same formula work for someone who had no money like the majority of us.
The majority of us don't. I disagree with that.
So,
If you're in this community,
well, I mean, us
most
as in
most people in this,
in the United States, us black people.
I'm narrowing it to communities.
Okay, so right.
If you're in this community, most of the black people in this community can afford to send their kids to private school.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. Well, let me say this. Most of the black folks I know.
Well, you're sitting across from one who could not afford that, so I couldn't afford that.
Well, you're in the minority.
Okay.
You are a minority that's in the minority.
I don't think so, Ansel. I don't think so. But, I mean, it's nice for you to believe that. But go ahead.
Yeah, so they can send their kids, but some people just decide that, you know what, I want my kids to have that public school experience.
Okay.
So they could afford to send them to Newark Academy if they want to.
Some people can, yes.
Yeah.
So, and you're saying that rather than do that, they should homeschool their child.
Yeah,
and hire
homeschool
grad
them.
students
Yeah.
from
Take the
small-
same money and invest it in tutors. It will come out to be cheaper. And the kid will learn more. One-on-one learning is the best type of learning. Can't beat that. I mean, listen, Khan Academy is excellent. You know about Khan Academy. If you can go through Khan Academy, if I could give you something and then you go to Khan Academy and enhance what you already know, you don't have no cable, you don't have no television, all that stuff. I mean, that's part of the problem. Part of the problem is that all these extracurricular activities at home that these kids get that distract them from doing what they're supposed to do. And mind you, they went to a 12-month school year. 12 months. They say no, 6 months and you take the summer off. 12 months.
It's 10 months, not 6 months. Who's in school for 6 months?
Don't you get May, June, July, and August off?
Are you trying to be funny?
No, I'm not. When does school finish?
June 30th?
Oh, your school finished in June 30th. At Oratory Prep, they finish like in May.
And what day do they start?
They start back in September.
Well, I mean, the state average is 181 days altogether.
Out of 360 days?
360.
That's nearly half the year. Come on. 180 is half. There's 365 days in the year.
Okay.
6 months, you out.
So you would also agree with extending the school year?
Yes, absolutely.
See, and that is why it's time to retire. Okay.
This should be extending the school year.
And the school day, I guess.
Yeah. While you at it. Make it 8 to 4 like if you're in a business.
Oh, my God. You know what? It's okay if they do that. Because I'm getting out. Okay.
So here we have
So,
it.
you know, imagine that working.
Now, here's the question. You asked this question. Do you think homeschooling is for every child, or does it work best with certain children? No. I think homeschooling is a viable and growing educational option, but it's not the only or even the best option for every child or every family. Homeschooling works well for our family, but I don't think any single educational option works best for every single child. I think homeschooling works well when the parents and the child not only love, but like and respect one another. Most parents and children love one another enormously, but that doesn't mean they all like and respect one another enough to enjoy spending the bulk of the day together. Homeschooling worked well for us because A, my husband C. Madison was a number cruncher in our home-based business, so he was ever present, yet benevolent ruler of our homeschooling enterprise. Charles and Damon are just 27 months older than Evans, and the three of them were good friends. And C, we live in a city with lots of external resources. Example, our extended family, church, a fabulous public library, the Ohio State University, and a host of other colleges and university community arts program. I think homeschooling might be harder with a single child or without some of those supports.
Support is important.
So, and here's the last question. For black mothers who can't afford to homeschool their children, you actually brought this up. Due to single parenthood a financial need to work, what tips can you give to supplement homeschooling? One of my pet peeves is that people who advise about things that they haven't done. So I try to do that. I try not to do that ever. I became a single parent when C. Madison died in May. And while I'm heartbroken, our baby is 31, so the parenting work is done. I wouldn't presume to advise sisters who are actively navigating single parenting and try to educate minor children. On the other hand, if you have a copy of Morning by Morning, How We Homeschool Our Sons to Be Ivy League, you might pick chapter 24. So how is this relevant if I don't choose to homeschool? I really tried to look at how the things we learn homeschooling could be applied to the more traditional educational setting.
So it's not for everyone, eh?
So there you have it. I mean, but I think for me, I think it would be tough for me to homeschool my kids, if I had that chance.
No, and then it requires that I mean, if you only focus on what is important to the child or his or her interest, if I were to do that, I would not have been that successful. I would have had to hire tutors. I don't, know math like that.
You never had any tutors for your kids?
No.
I had tutors for my kids.
It's a class thing, when you're a poor black woman like me.
It's not a class thing.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
No.
Yes, it is. It's
So
an economic thing, and so
you
doesn't have money for that.
you think middle class blacks can hire tutors? You consider yourself to be poor, but you're not poor. You're a middle class black.
And I'm one that could not afford.
You didn't want to. If you had to, you would have.
Thought.
If you had to, you would have.
Perhaps if I had to, it would have come
if your
to
kids
my
needed tutors, you would have done it. You would have done it. For the betterment of your kids, you would have done it.
Well, it's not like I have not done things for the betterment of my children and supplemented their education, but hiring a tutor, no. I mean, I would probably lend out my children as tutors more so than hire one for them. So.
Let's go to the Somo quote of the day.
Yeah, let's go to this. Is a slow, tired day.
This is a slow diet day, man.
And it's 36 degrees outside, according to NJ News. So, whatever happened to spring that was supposed to promise?
Let's go.
Promise.
Let's go to the Somo quote of the day. Okay. Somo quote it is. There's like silence. You'd be like, what are they doing?
I'm waiting for Anselm. I'm sorry, we're kind of dead today.
You have been pretty kind of sedate.
I'm sorry I'm not amped up. It's cold. I'm tired. And I have to do the Russian Revolution.
This is a great one. The Somo quote of the day. Don't let someone else's opinion of you become your reality. Don't let someone else's opinion of you become your reality.
Are you what others think of you?
It don't matter.
So, what do you mean it don't matter? What kind of answer is that?
I really don't care. I don't care what other people think about me.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Mr. I have 5,000 friends on Facebook. People think I'm the coolest thing this side of,
So
the Hudson River.
I don't think people think I'm the coolest thing. No, I don't care. Yes. Why would I care? I can't control people's opinion about how they feel about things. I'm not trying to do that. I'm not. And I'll be honest with you. Most women think I'm conceited, as you do. So,
yeah, I think you're kind of full of yourself.
You example right there.
Yeah.
And
I don't, because it's just a mystery. Why? Because you're an old man who can run.
No. You see, you misdiagnosed the situation. That's what it is. It's
That's what it is.
It's a misdiagnosis.
An old man who can